All right, here's a little trick. Get a forklift here that has a audible LPG gas leak. I can hear it, can't see it, can smell it. So here's a little trick that I use. There you go. Soap and water gets it every time. And what we have is a bad vaporizer leaking through the backside of it on the casting. So we will replace this. All right, here's the old one, old vaporizer. Here's a new one. Now, a lot of times these can be rebuilt, but sometimes it's easier just to put a new one in, because what can happen is something inside here can fail and go through the line, go through the low pressure line, and take out this injector. This is the pulse injector. Okay, new vaporizer is installed. I'm gonna just do a quick pressure check. I'm gonna open or turn on the ignition so that the lock off opens up. You can hear it turn on right there. I'm gonna just spray down my lines very quickly, make sure that we don't have any leaks where I disconnected the lines. And so far, we are good. I don't smell any propane. I don't hear any propane. Everything's good. The other thing to look for in a vaporizer is it freezing up. If it turns white like your freezer immediately, that's indicative of a failure inside, where it is not getting the coolant through properly. It will turn frosty on the top, and it will be very hard to start. Also, the main focus of an LPG vaporizer is to convert the high pressure down to low pressure. So usually you have anywhere between 100 and 200 psi coming out of the tank here into this vaporizer, and which is then warmed by the coolant, engine coolant, and low pressure comes out about 5 psi into a injector, a pulse injector. So yeah, we have about 130 psi roughly coming out of this tank. What I usually like to do for diagnostics is, let's say I feel like that the vaporizer is going bad, I will unscrew this with a pair of gloves on, of course, and I will empty or evacuate the system in this line, any fuel left in this line before the lock off. I feel like this is on its way out or going kaputs. I will come over here immediately before I do anything and evacuate this line, and then cycle the ignition. If it fires up immediately on a no start, then I know I got a bad vaporizer or one that's on the way out. If I am in a jam and I know that I'm going to be picking the machine up, or I just need the machine moved, let's say if it's stuck in an aisle or whatever, what I do is, and again, that's just by popping the hood and looking at the top of this or looking at the body of this, and it's all frosty like the inside of your freezer, I will walk over here, right? I will evacuate this line again, and I will start it. And then with this line reattached, I will just barely crack this, just so it gets a little bit of fuel in there. Okay, and once I get it just a rough idle, I can limp the machine out of where it's stuck. Okay, hope that helps.